Tesla just officially launched their new Plaid Model S. They live streamed the event itself, talking through all of the specs of the car, and delivered the first 25 vehicles to customers. Soon we should see many more of these on the road, and today we're going to talk about all of the improvements and changes to the Model S that you probably didn't catch, so let's get into it. First up, Tesla released the full owner's manual for the Model S. Typically when Tesla does this, it gives us our first real confirmations of features, just like it did with the Model Y at launch, and this time is no different. In the manual for the exterior, we can see that nothing has changed feature-wise, and the Model S still includes a radar sensor. Those have now been removed from the Model 3 and Y, but will still remain on the Model S and X for the time being. The interior yoke steering wheel is confirmed, and there is no mention that a round steering wheel will ever be an option. Tesla may offer that once this car ramps up deliveries, since we have seen them testing it, and we've even seen official renders of it leaked on their website. The yoke steering wheel includes no stalks, so you have the two scroll wheels that work largely the same as the Model 3 and Model Y. The main difference is to the right scroll wheel. Quote, "When driving, push and release the button to engage auto steer or traffic aware cruise control. You can change settings to have a single press mean cruise control and a double press mean auto steer if that's what you would prefer." That button is currently for voice commands in the Model 3 and Y, so Tesla has made a dedicated voice command button above the scroll wheel on the yoke. The steering yoke is heated, and on the right there is the horn button, an indicator for cruise control that signals the right scroll wheel can be used with cruise control, windshield wiper button, and voice command button. On the left, there is a scroll wheel that controls everything for your media player, the same as the Model 3 and Model Y, as well as a blinker button and the high beams button. This is all stuff that we knew Tesla was moving to the yoke, but we hadn't seen it officially in action or confirmed as to where these buttons would be laid out and how autopilot would work without stalks until now. The next big feature that has been unclear is shifting. We knew Tesla was moving shifting to some sort of automated system with a backup on the touchscreen, and now it is confirmed that there are multiple options. The first and main option for the Model S and X is to use auto shift, and Tesla has now released a detailed video into how this system works. You first enable this in settings, and it is called auto shift out of park, currently in beta, of course. Quote, "The gear is chosen based on the trajectory that was taken into your current parking location, as well as information from sensors about the current environment. Always check to confirm that the gear chosen matches your expectations before you press the accelerator pedal. Auto shift out of park will only shift gears when transitioning out of park. Shifting between forward and reverse must be performed manually using the gear shift slider on the left side of the center display. Before enabling this feature, ensure that you are familiar with operation of the gear shifter. Do you want to enable auto shift out of park while it is in beta?" And then you choose either yes or no. When you press the brake pedal, your car chooses forward or reverse, and the direction is clearly shown to you on the instrument cluster, so you know for sure that it guessed or chose correctly. This is the first confirmation that we've got that this feature will not shift you out of forward or reverse or back and forth when turning around somewhere. If you pull out of a parking space, you will need to manually shift on screen, and Tesla demos how to do that here. The left bar on the screen is dedicated to this. You swipe up for drive and swipe down for reverse. What Tesla doesn't mention here in this video, but is clear about in the owner's manual, is that there is another backup shifting method. This makes sense, since if you were restarting the screen or something goes wrong and it turns off, how would you shift? Well, it's at the base of the wireless charger. There are force touch buttons to change gears, along with the hazard button. Quote, "In addition to manually shifting gears on the touchscreen, you can select a gear by pressing a button located on the center console. In most situations, those buttons are not available until you press one of the gear buttons to activate it. When active, the LEDs associated with each gear illuminate, and when you select a gear, the associated LED illuminates amber. In situations where the touchscreen is unavailable or Model S is in valet or transport mode, the gear selector on the center console activates automatically, and there is no need to touch it to activate it." It seems that Tesla has truly developed this as a backup and does not intend users to use it regularly. The buttons are there but will not illuminate unless already activated with a press. Also, this prevents you from accidentally shifting gears when putting your phone down on the charger. So auto shift only works out of park, and it is still in beta, so you will be regularly shifting on screen using the swipe motion. I can see this being a bit frustrated, but we'll have to see what it's like in practice. Furthermore, on the yoke, the signal buttons work in multiple ways. A light touch will activate the signal for as long as you keep your finger on it. A firmer press fully engages the signal and keeps it on until you make the turn. disengage by pressing the button again. This is one of the features of the Yoke that feels like it will take a week or two to get used to, but once you do, it's very nice to be able to signal with your thumb as opposed to a stock. This falls right in line with the advanced user interface Tesla has updated on the new Model S and X, and we finally have gotten some new close-ups of what it truly looks like in practice. The dock is customizable and holds 6 apps, each of which now have a color icon, which some love and some hate. The big updates are that you can customize where everything is located on the screen. A passenger can take the Spotify window over to their side, while Maps remains as the focus on the driver's side of the screen. It looks very impressive, and like Tesla is doing a great job designing this to truly take advantage of this 17-inch landscape screen in new ways, since it still has the main instrument cluster for the driver. Arguably, the driver has an even better view of that front instrument cluster screen now, thanks to the Yoke steering wheel as well. Electrek filmed an in-depth look at the UI, and overall it is the main Tesla features falling into this new design with movable windows, but there were a few notable additions. The controls menu is much more inviting and includes larger buttons for each control. It feels like they have really seen what users want and use most and have laid it out in a much more friendly way. The air conditioning is the same system as the Model 3 with invisible vents movable on screen. Tesla Arcade and Theater have remained largely the same, but with UI improvements, and the instrument cluster UI has been updated as well. Now the visualizations take up most of the screen, and the speedometer is larger off to the right. Again, seeing this photo really emphasizes how well you can see that display thanks to the Yoke. Interestingly, most have called this version 11 and hoped that Tesla would bring this new version to the Model 3 and Y, but according to the software page on screen, it's not version 11. It's version 10.2 with 2021.12.4.2. So this could be how Tesla is numbering things and they do plan to bring some of these changes to the Model 3 and Y, or this could simply be the first big distinguisher between the Model 3 and Y and Model S and X. With the Model 3 and Y, the single main 15-inch screen controls everything. Here, the 17-inch screen controls everything that you don't see on the instrument cluster. So there's a lot more real estate Tesla has to work with on the Model S and X. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a ton of these features make their way to the Model 3 and Y, since it doesn't entirely make sense to be able to move windows around if the left 1/3 of your screen really needs to be your driving, instrument cluster, speedometer, and more. Tesla went through a few different versions of this software, and now they have officially updated their website renders to reflect the current delivered software as well. As I mentioned, there were no new games included in this car, but Tesla demoed the PS5 level performance in the new Model S with a gaming demo. Inside the car, someone was playing Cyberpunk 2077 at 60 FPS. It's very impressive for that car since it actually falls in line with the PS5, but it also raises the question as to how you'll actually get these games in the car. Cyberpunk is not included. Witcher, as shown on their website, is also not included. It's capable of playing these games, but how is Tesla going to actually deliver them to customers? Hopefully there will be some sort of app store, but it does seem that that's a ways off. I hope that this gets figured out quickly though, because having a PS5 level performance doesn't matter if you don't have access to any games to actually utilize it. What will happen is that gaming will be available in the front and the rear. Tesla didn't specifically demo the rear screen playing games, but we can see that both screens can have infotainment, and we know that the rear is not tied to what the front screen is doing, as shown in Tesla's official render. Interestingly, regarding games, Tesla had their own controller on hand at the event. You can control your Tesla games with nearly any Bluetooth controller, but Tesla Raj spotted an official Tesla controller. It seems to be a bit of an odd design, but also taking from the PlayStation and the Xbox. We'll see if this was just a fun project that Tesla worked on to have for their own demos, or if they truly developed this controller for the future. It might make sense for them to offer their own controller if they truly go all in on PS5 level performance with the Model S and X. I just hope the controller looks a little better than this. One feature of the Model S that was originally announced on Tesla's website was a screen that tilts. It said, quote, with 2200 by 1300 resolution, ultra bright, true colors, exceptional responsiveness, and left-right tilt. The new center display is the best screen to watch anywhere. Then any mention of a tilting screen was removed. Right now, the Model S and X screens being delivered are fixed straightforward and have no ability to tilt. However, a few sources have said that it may actually be able to tilt, just not yet. According to Tesla Raj, quote, "The tilt is not active yet. Not ready is what I was told. It's software controllable, so will be unlocked via software update." This was also retweeted by Sawyer Merritt, who is well known for having reliable sources, so it seems that it could be very possible that this is true. It's just a very odd situation. I guess overall it's good that Tesla has removed any mention of the screen tilt, because for now the screen does not tilt, and they are not saying that it does, but it should possibly have that feature in the future over a software update. In a similar vein, noise cancellation is included in the Model S with microphones located in the front seats to detect external noise and cancel them through the speakers. You can change the amount of canceling in settings, but the owner's manual specifically says this feature may not be available at delivery. It hasn't been fully confirmed as to what will be added, but it seems there are a few features that will be enabled hopefully in the coming weeks for owners. Still, early reports of the new Model S say that the cabin noise is far quieter than the older version of the car, so that's great to hear. Now let's talk about the range on the Model S. This is possibly the only disappointing part of this launch event, because as they launched the car, the top range of the normal long-range Model S actually decreased on Tesla's website. The long-range Model S officially gets an EPA range of 405 miles, not 412 like Elon mentioned. Previously, this was quoted at 412 miles on their website, so it went down by about 7. Not a lot, but that top range decreasing after they canceled the 520 plus mile Plaid Plus definitely doesn't thrill most people. The Plaid model still gets a 390 mile range, however that's with the stock 19-inch Tempest wheels. Many people buying a $130,000 car don't want plastic hubcaps, and Tesla offers the upgrade to their 21-inch wheels for $4,500. With these wheels, the range of the Model S actually decreases down to 348 miles of range. So for most Model S's being demoed at the event, with the performance wheels, the top range was 348 miles. Those wheels dropped the estimated range by a full 42 miles, which is quite a lot all things considered. Interestingly, according to Tesla, even those 21-inch $4,500 wheels won't actually be capable of achieving the top promised 200 mph spec of the Plaid Model S. According to Tesla, quote, "The indicated Plaid top speed requires proper wheels and tires, which will be available in fall 2021. Technically, buying this car stock will not actually achieve its promised specs, so we should get more information about this from Tesla in the future, and hopefully on time for fall of 2021. They will likely sell those wheels to Plaid customers after delivery if they want them, and add them to the online configurator. Wheels and tires that go 200 miles per hour are pretty expensive, and hardly anyone will ever actually need to go 200 miles per hour, but we'll stay tuned to see how this truly develops. One upgrade that Tesla did with the new Model S that we just found out about is their move to a 12-volt lithium-ion battery. This is a big upgrade since 12-volt batteries were often an issue with previous Model S's and X's, as well as any Tesla. They can still cause issues, and it's because of their lifespan often being too short. The new battery is incredibly small, leaving extra space in the car where the previous battery was, and the specs now show a low voltage rating of 6.9 amp hours with a voltage of 15.5 volts. It should increase the lifespan of this battery by a lot and will hopefully eliminate the issue amongst Tesla owners down the line. Ultimately, Elon wants to move to a better architecture than needing these anyway, but for now, these should solve a number of issues. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes before we see these in the Model 3 and Model Y. The main draw for the Plaid Model S and this entire refresh for that car is its speed. The new tri-motor powertrain brings the Model S down to a 0 to 60 just under 2 seconds, in the right scenario, and the quarter mile they quote at 9.23 seconds. Well, Jay Leno actually got an opportunity to test out the Plaid Model S before its release, and a new special segment on CNBC showed his quarter-mile run. Reportedly, Jay hit 9.247 seconds on his 0 to 60, saying, quote, "It was a winner. I mean, it is now the fastest production car you can buy. Faster than any Ferrari, faster than any $3.5 million Bugatti." The full segment won't air until the fall, but it will be featured on Jay Leno's Garage. It's great free advertising for Tesla, and Jay appears to be a legitimate fan of everything Tesla is doing and the future of electric vehicles. Over at Laguna Seca, Unplugged Performance has already managed to get their hands on a Plaid Model S and do tons of modifications to it. There is a spoiler, a plaid paint job or wrap, updated wheels, altered fascia, and more. They are likely trying to hit their own track record with their own updated version of the Model S Plaid. Keep in mind that no matter what changes they do to the exterior and interior, the powertrain, motors, battery, and everything internal is most likely completely stock for the Plaid Model S. It's very impressive, and I'm very excited to see the results from this run. There's a lot more to learn about the new Model S, and hopefully I'll be able to do a full review of it soon as more deliveries happen. In the meantime, if you want to see a a full recap of the Tesla Plaid delivery event, you can check out that video linked over here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.